Hey, what's up guys? Will here for GSMArena. If you're looking for a phone that covers all of the bases without going into flagship territory, the selection could be a bit overwhelming. That's why we've put together a list of this year's smartphones which are all around pretty great. Let's get into it. We've split these phones into two price categories, and we'll start with the upper mid-rangers priced at around 400 euros or less. These are well-rounded phones that are able to deliver those fan-favorite features without any big compromises. The first phone on the list is the Realme GT Master at around 320 euros. This phone has a unique vegan leather design meant to resemble luggage. If that's not your thing, there is the option for a regular plastic back as well. On the front is an excellent AMOLED display with a super fast 120Hz refresh rate. The Master doesn't support high frame rate gaming, but games do run great thanks to the high-performance Snapdragon 778G chipset. The Realme GT Master has a 4300 mAh battery, not too huge, but it's no slouch when it comes to battery life. Plus it brings Realme's famous Super Dart charging, which allows it to charge from a dead battery to full in just half an hour. And there's a triple camera setup on the back, which can take good still photos. What we're not fans of is that the Realme GT Master is not so hot in video recording quality, and it lacks stereo speakers. But still, overall, the Realme GT Master is a great package for the money. Next, for 340 euros, we have the Xiaomi 11 Lite 5G NE, the market replacement of the popular Mi 11 Lite 5G. The phone has a sleek design made from glass with a plastic frame, and it has IP53 rated protection against splashes. On the front is an OLED display that's pretty premium for this price. It has support for 10-bit color and HDR10+, and has a fast 90Hz refresh rate, which allows for high frame rate gaming. You also get a pair of loud stereo speakers for your audio. Again, like the Realme GT Master, you get a trendy Snapdragon 778G chipset, which offers great mid-range performance. But it is a slight downgrade graphics-wise from the Snapdragon 780G inside the original Mi 11 Lite. Still, you get excellent battery life on the Xiaomi 11 Lite 5G NE, and the charging speed is pretty decent on top of that. And on the back, there's a triple camera setup. It's the same hardware-wise as on the Mi 11 Lite, and you get the same good quality here too. Overall, the Xiaomi 11 Lite 5G NE is a great all-around mid-ranger, and even though its chipset is slightly downgraded from the Mi 11 Lite, it's still competitive. Next, and going for around 360 euros, is the Motorola Edge 20. With its flat glass back, the Moto Edge 20 is quite similar looks-wise to the Xiaomi. This one has an aluminum frame though, and although it has some waterproofing in its design, it's not IP rated. Its OLED screen is pretty impressive. It has HDR10+ support, 10-bit color, and a super fast 144Hz refresh rate. There's support for high frame rate gaming, as well as a really low touch latency. The screen's performance is comparable to a dedicated gaming phone. You don't get a flagship level chipset. Again, it's a Snapdragon 778G, but this is plenty for smooth gameplay, and the thermal management is good too. One neat feature you get here is support for Motorola's Ready 4 platform, which allows you to connect the phone to a TV or monitor to use the big screen. There's also a versatile triple camera setup that delivers good quality in both stills and videos. You don't get stereo speakers on the Moto Edge 20, and the battery life falls behind some of the others on this list. But still, it's a great all-around option, especially if you're into gaming. Moving on to Samsung's Galaxy A52s 5G, which at the moment is going for around 380 euros. The A52s 5G really defines this segment of all-around mid-rangers. Even though it's made from plastic, the matte pastel color scheme is attractive, and it's all IP67 rated against water and dust. The front panel is protected by Gorilla Glass 5 too. It's a Samsung AMOLED with a 120Hz refresh rate and HDR10+ support, and you get stereo speakers to round out the media experience. You even get a traditional headphone jack, which is always nice. Another thing that we liked is the capable quad camera setup, which is versatile and delivers good quality for the price. Battery life is pretty solid here, and charging speed is not bad either. The A52s 5G is actually quite similar to Samsung's Galaxy A52 5G, the only difference being the new Snapdragon 778G chipset. But even with the upgrade, the price of this model is basically the same as the previous one. If you're thinking to go for a Samsung at this price, we wouldn't hesitate to recommend it. If you're willing to spend a bit more money, next on the ladder is the group of flagship killers. We have a whole video dedicated to those, so make sure you don't miss it. But for now, we'll finish off this video with another batch of well-rounded phones, the premium all-rounders. These slot above the flagship killers, but still below proper flagships, and they can do almost everything the flagships can do, but without costing as much. First up, the Asus Zenfone 8 Flip, going for around 660 euros. The phone has a pretty standard build made from glass with an aluminum frame, but what makes it stand out is the camera module, which can flip to the front for selfies. It's a triple camera setup that is quite versatile, with a 3x optical zoom, and although there's no OIS, the cameras provide great photo and video quality. The only real downside is that because of the moving parts, there's no waterproofing on this phone. The Zenfone 8 Flip has an AMOLED display with a 90Hz refresh rate and HDR10+ support. There are stereo speakers for your audio too. And the gaming performance here is great, thanks to the top-of-the-line Snapdragon 888 chipset. On the other hand, battery life is decent, but nothing outstanding, and the charging speed is just okay. If you're into selfies, the Zenfone 8 Flip is an excellent choice, especially since the rest of the package overall is quite solid. Next comes the Motorola Edge 20 Pro, which at 700 euros is a bit pricier than the non-Pro version. Unlike that model, which has a flat, angular design, the Pro brings a curved, tapered one, which is more premium. This phone is made from Gorilla Glass on the back, not plastic. There's still no IP rating, but Moto claims some ingress protection. The OLED display is just like the non-Pro Moto Edge 20, except it's protected by Gorilla Glass 5 here. You again have that super fast 144Hz refresh rate and low touch latency that are great for gaming. And performance is even better on the Moto Edge 20 Pro because of the higher tier Snapdragon 870 chipset. Plus there's a larger battery and better battery life than the non-Pro. Charging speed is decent, but nothing too fast. There's again support for Moto's Ready 4 to connect to a screen or other devices. And the triple camera setup brings an upgraded periscope telephoto camera, which has 5x optical zoom. And quality is good overall, if you don't mind that only the main cam has night mode support. We also wish that the phone had a pair of stereo speakers for audio. But still, the Edge 20 Pro brings a nice smartphone experience, plenty of upgrades over the regular model, and that hard to find 5x zoom. And last but not least, for around 610 euros, we have the Xiaomi 11T Pro, the upgrade over the 11T, which we already featured among the so-called flagship killers. It brings exactly the same build quality and looks as the non-Pro version. They're pretty hard to tell apart. You have the same 120Hz AMOLED display here, the only difference is Dolby Vision support. The stereo speakers on the Pro model also have fancier Harman Kardon tuning, though quality-wise both phones sound equally stellar to us. One of the biggest differences between the two models though is the chipset. The Xiaomi 11T Pro has a top-tier Snapdragon 888 and better peak performance than the vanilla one. It will tend to throttle during longer sessions though. The Pro model also stands out because of its huge 120-watt charger, which is able to charge the phone from 0 to full in about 20 minutes. The battery life itself is nothing special though, even a bit less than the vanilla model. The Xiaomi 11T Pro has the same camera setup as the 11T, and the quality is the same here. The only difference is that there's support for 8K video recording on the Pro. So the 11T Pro offers a similar experience to the 11T, but it's a nice option if you don't mind paying more for faster charging and a more powerful chipset. So there you have it guys, our handpicked list of this year's phones which are all around pretty competitive, but not necessarily a flagship killer. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.